Welcome to the BEASTwriter family where social media engagement is encouraged. I am your host, Ryan Sakamoto, and today we're going to be talking about a lot of different things as it comes to the NFC Championship game. And I just want to let you guys know that I'm going to provide you some analysis, predictions, and exactly how everything or how I see everything going down. Now, before we go ahead and get started, I just want to say mahalo to each and every one of you for subscribing to my channel. Just be sure to turn on and flip on the bell notifications here on YouTube so you get notified when I go live or when I upload content. Also, people are asking me if I'm on other social media outlets outside of course, I'm on Twitter, which you guys can follow here. Just go to twitter.com/BEASTwriter. You can find me on Twitter. You can also follow me on Instagram, same exact thing. TikTok, same exact handle. So for any other social media outlet, it's just BEASTwriter. And if it's BEASTwriter plus something, it's not me, which is weird. Why people would make fake accounts of me, but it happens. Really weird. But we're going to talk about that. Let's get to some of your comments here. I know there's a lot of comments that were coming into the DMs as well as in all social media platforms. So here we are on Facebook. Raul Bertoni Ramirez says, Niners. Sanjo Sunny in the house says, what's good? What's up, Beast? Been a while, man. Hope all is well. Is good. Yeah, everything is going well. I've been running my game grades as I do. I just ran my votes for the Pro Football Writers Association, PFWA. Because if you guys don't know, I do have year-end voting rights as a member of the Pro Football Writers Association for, of course, MVP, Rookie of the Year, Comeback Player of the Year, First Team All-Pro. So when I talk about this in the BWF grading system, as you see right here, you guys are probably wondering, well, that's why I run these grades on the landscape of the entire NFL, so I can have a broader knowledge of who the important players are, who the best players are, which teams have players that are weaknesses on their team. For instance, I don't know, Chicago Bears in the defensive backfield, you talk about Vildor. He's a liability on the back end. To Denver Broncos, you look at them, and then you can really say Kyle Fuller was definitely the weakest link on the back end there when they had Kareem Jackson, Pat Surtain, and of course, my first team All-Pro selection that didn't get in, Justin Simmons. But that's for a different story. But hey, Kevin Byard made it. Good for him. I thought he had a good year. But hey, when you look at the safeties, how can you leave out my top-rated PWF Honey Badger, Tyrann Mathieu? It doesn't matter if you're a free safety. It doesn't matter if you're a strong safety. He was the best safety overall in my grading system. How can you leave out the Honey Badger, who, by the way, is playing in the NFC Championship game, coming back from this concussion that he got and suffered in the first quarter of the divisional round? I don't know. All right, so with that being said, let me just go ahead and fix this real fast. I got to fix my mic, so I'm making sure the audio... So bear with me for a second. I think the audio is good now. Is audio good? Hopefully the audio is good. Aron Singh says video quality. Maybe it's bad. We have Mind of Jerry in the house. I've been wanting Mind of Jerry. Hey, is my video quality horrible? I know it is. Just be honest. Just say, hey, these are freaking...
Well, I can't tell.
It was bad?
Yeah, it was bad earlier when I looked. But
really?
Yeah, let me see. It looks fine on StreamYard, so, but I don't know how it looks in YouTube.
Dude, I don't know, man. Sucks, dude. Sucks. Anyways, no excuses. My channel is just garbage right now. I'm
looking better now.
Calling myself out. It's horrible, bro.
You have to upgrade your internet, man. That's what happened.
Okay, maybe I look sexier with the pixelated lag time. I don't know.
Well, you know, your name is Ryan. You go by BEASTwriter, though, right? Was that the intro?
Oh, yeah. I forgot to say that. I'm saying, hi, my name is Ryan Sakamoto, but you may know me as the BEASTwriter. Which, by the way, lightning can strike twice here at SoFi Stadium because the guy may go and try to do another catfish.
You should go, man, and you can confront this. No. That'll be great YouTube.
No. I mean, what honestly... To be honest with you, like, what can I say that would change his mind? He can always say, "Oh, I was just playing, Jerry," and it's like, well,
I would just shake his hand and be like, you know what? You can try to pretend to be me, but you ain't me, bro.
It's just, I feel bad for all the people that he kind of catfished. But then, to be honest with you, like, that dude looked nothing like me, bro. Even like Randy Cross, even all my like colleagues are like, dude, first of all, he doesn't have muscles like you. He's not built like you. And well, let's face it, I am not the tallest guy. I am vertically challenged. I'm only 5'5", so this guy looks like he's at least 5'8". So by default, hey, if you see a short guy that's buff, that's probably me, Asian guy with tattoos. By the way, the tattoos give it all.
Yeah.
Like the type of tattoos give it all. And I would be sleeveless, as Randy Cross would say. He's like, dude, that's your trademark. That's your trademark. The players, yeah, the players know it. The coaches know it. They say, hey man, I kind of knew it was you because you had no, like literally when I go to practice, you can't miss me because I come out no sleeves.
If it's in Wisconsin, I can understand because it was cold as hell there, right?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But in LA, come on.
Yeah, exactly. Let's talk about what you want to talk about.
Hey,
well,
man,
I think you want to talk about the game.
Well, just the playoff in general, dude. I think this was like the best weekend of football, in my opinion. And the best game I thought was actually the last one, the Bills and the Chiefs. That was freaking amazing, you know?
Yeah. The Bills and Chiefs, and Phil Simms said it on Inside the NFL, which in my opinion is the best NFL show out there. And if you guys have a chance to download Paramount Plus or subscribe to Paramount Plus, because you have to be on that network in order to watch the live streaming there. But they really do a really good job, in my estimation, of really breaking down film, but peeling back layers of the onion to get to the core, as I always like to say. You get like sound bites that you otherwise wouldn't get from some of these other. Now I'm not saying these other networks aren't good. They're awesome. They're the best. It's a little bit different, I should say. And I think what makes that show head and shoulders above any other show, in my opinion, again, this is just my opinion, right? It's because they have an all-pro cast. These aren't Pro Bowlers. You're talking about all-pro talent. You're talking about Ray Lewis. You're talking about Julian Edelman. You're talking about JB. And you're talking about Phil Simms, right? And so, okay, I'll put in the Brandon Marshall in there, but Michael Irvin. But it's really a fun show to watch. And when they break it down, and I bring this up because Phil Simms said on Inside the NFL, I don't want to ruin it, but I mean, it was aired on Tuesday. Here we are on Thursday, so I don't think it's any surprise. He said that game was the best game he's ever witnessed, period. From a fan's perspective.
The drama was amazing, right? I mean, well, there's no defense, right? But that's whatever. I mean, the playoffs, as a fan, you want to see that. You want to see high scoring. Now, I'm wondering, the overtime rules was a big focus, but whatever. That's the rules. You lose the coin flip.
Yeah.
That's what happens. I knew it too. I knew it when they lost the coin flip. I was like, all right.
Oh yeah.
He's going to the championship, because the way that game was going is whoever gets a possession gets a touchdown.
Right.
So it was great. So
I like let's stick on the overtime rules. Let me put up a banner on that, and I want to talk about this because I think there is some kind of, how should I say this? What's the word, Jerry, that I'm looking for? There is some kind of debate.
Controversy?
Yeah, controversy, debate. I think controversy is a better term. It is controversial because on one side, we want to see offense. But for me, I don't want to see a lot of back and forth, because that means that you're not really being disciplined in your assignments on the run fit integrity or in the passing game when you're on defense. I think if you're going to win the game outright, if a team scores a touchdown, you don't deserve to win. Doesn't matter who has the ball first, because let's face it, if they're scoring a touchdown instead of a field goal, the game should be over right there. But if you hold them to a field goal, then you should have the opportunity to go the other way around. See, when you give both teams an opportunity for a possession, that's going to shorten their careers, right? Because on any given play, you can be, boom, your career's over. And do you really want to see a back and forth, a triple overtime game? One touchdown, next touchdown. I mean, a 21-21 ball game can end up being a 42-42 ball game when it's all said and done. And people say, oh, why don't we just extend it to a 10 minute half and then just go back and forth, and at the end of the 10 minutes, like basketball, we had declare a winner. Well, the problem with that is this is not basketball. Yeah, and basketball is so much different, right? Basketball is a contact sport as well, but again, when you talk about player safety, you're basically contradicting yourself for the product of the field rather than protecting the people on the field.
Yeah,
if
know
that
what
makes sense.
The best rule I heard that I thought was kind of interesting is you do a coin flip.
Okay.
Winner picks where the ball is placed, like from anywhere you want. But the other team gets a pick if they're on offense or defense. What do you think about that rule?
That is a lot of strategy. That
Right?
I kind of I like
I
that.
like that, right? That's a pretty good one.
Wait, you mean anywhere so they can have it from the 1 yard line?
They have a 1 yard line, but then the other team gets a pick if they're on offense or defense. So you put on the 1 yard line, you pick offense, and you're screwed, right? So it's where would you pick at that point?
I here you want to hear my theory, and it's unconventional.
Yeah,
we talk about special teams, right?
Mm-hmm.
Who won the freaking Niner Packer game? It was not the offense. It was not the Niner. Well, the Niners defense did show up, but it was really the special teams, right?
Mm-hmm.
Jimmy Ward's blocked field goal attempt right before halftime. Oh, here's Jordan Millis blocking a punt, return touchdown by Talanoa Hufanga. I mean, that right there is a game changer. Why don't we give kickers enough love? We only do it in the playoffs when it really counts, right? To be honest with you. Why don't we have a kickoff with the kickers to decide? Because if football is all about winning in all three phases, offense and defense get the most hype through regulation, then the third phase should come down to special teams in overtime. I think you should do a shootout.
Are you talking about injury, though? I think special teams is where the most injuries occur, right? Like
no,
no.
We're not talking about kickoffs. We're talking about a shootout.
Oh, okay. Like
no, shootout. No. So we'll have a shootout from like the 25-yard line, and the other guy does it from the 25-yard line, and you keep on setting it back.
I see.
And then you get to the 55.
You play a force to whoever. Like
you're basically exactly. But again, it's you want to talk about player safety and where winning is of the utmost importance in winning in all three phases. I would like to see that, because now you're putting the kicker to a decision. You're putting a lot of pressure on the kicker, and the kicker wants to. Robbie Gold would love this. He would like, hell yeah, let's do what BEASTwriter said.
He might not like it in Green Bay though, where it's cold. He probably don't want to kick as much. You know what I mean?
But it's neutral because both teams are dealing with the same elements.
I'm just saying, you're coming out of a game like Wisconsin though, where the ball is heavier. He's feeling it in the morning, I'm sure, even after that one kick. So imagine you have to kick 4 times in that environment. I don't know, man.
Let's talk about. I think you want to talk about what? Let's talk about the Chiefs and the Bengals. I don't know how much time you have. You have like what, 5 minutes?
No, I can stay on for a little bit longer.
That's fine. So you're going to be on here forever. Great.
I can if you want me to, but it's your show.
Dude. I'll give you airtime. I don't care, dude. It's all the more the merrier, man. I'm.
Like 10 more minutes.
We're good.
We'll play by ear. How's that?
Let's talk about the Bengals and the Chiefs. Let's talk about that matchup first.
Were you surprised the Bengals made it and 9 sacks and 3 interceptions from Tannehill, and that last minute interception that was costly? What do you think? Do you think Tannehill's overrated?
I don't think he's overrated. I think we always knew what he was, which is
I do. Sorry. See, this is why I'm here. I help you out with the audio fixes.
Let me fix this.
It must be the cord. Okay, sounds better. Okay.
Is it better now?
Yeah.
Is it better now or no?
Yeah, that's good.
All right. I feel like I should be in a Verizon commercial and be like, "Can you hear me now?" Good. And then go back and can you hear me now? Good.
They're very good commercials this year in the Super Bowl. I mean, I'm always looking for what Doritos always have a good one. What else?
Bud Light, dude. I always miss the Bud Light frogs. They got to bring the frogs back, bro. That made me want to drink Bud Light. Okay, we're not supposed to talk about that, huh? We can't talk about that on YouTube, right?
You can talk about it.
Are we allowed to?
Yeah.
Are we allowed to? You sure?
Why wouldn't you be allowed to talk about that?
I don't know, dude.
Commercials, dude.
Yeah, but Bud Light commercial. That made me want to drink Bud Light as a kid. To be honest with you, I had no idea what Bud Light was, and now it's like,
you're like, this looks cool.
Bud, right?
What was it? GoDaddy always has a good commercial. Doritos.
Oh, GoDaddy. You know what's funny? You want to talk about product placement, and this will always stick in my mind. That Candlestick was, aside from the Berkeley farms around the stadium, around the edges of the stadium, there was that Marlboro freaking cowboy by the scoreboard. Yes, dude. And I always saw that, and I was like, because when you see the scoreboard, you have to look at it. It's the biggest product placement there. And as a kid, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get that when I grow up. And people tend to forget I used to smoke. I used to be a heavy smoker, and guess what I had? Guess what I was smoking? Marlboro.
Oh, geez, look at you, man. Marlboro Reds? Oh, wow.
Yeah, how'd you know? I went from menthol to Reds, and then I was like, okay, man, this is bad. I gotta stop cold turkey, and I did. Back in 2014. But yeah, crazy.
You know, probably pays for his back though, because like everyone's streaming everything now, so no one's watching commercials, right? So the best way to promote your product is product placement in a show or a TV or a movie, right? That's the best way to do it.
Yeah, I mean, you see Volvo, you know the car company Volvo. You see Volvo in a lot of freaking movies, and I mean, dating back to like Romeo Must Die, right? You see Volvo. Right. Volvos are in every single movie. You turn on Netflix. I'm not kidding you. I kid you not. You turn on to 10 movies randomly on Netflix. I guarantee 6 out of those 10 movies, you will see a Volvo. I guarantee, hands down. Nice. So next time you look for a Volvo, because odds are it's going to be in the freaking movie. And they do a really good job at that. I'm serious. I'm being serious.
I forgot what show it was, but all the good guys drove American cars and the bad guys drove international cars. Remember there was a show or movie that did that. It was kind of funny. Yeah. Right? Just kind of be pro-America there. Yeah. Anyways, I'm sure your fans don't want to hear about commercials and everything else, but
no, they do. Fans want to hear everything. Fans want to hear everything. Let's see. Let's talk about the. Let's first talk about the Chiefs and the Bengals. Who do you have winning, and what's your analysis for the game?
It's so hard to bet against Mahomes, you know, like especially in this situation, they're being healthy, being hot at the right time, and the Bengals, you know, I give them props for making it this far, right? Breaking their playoff appearance streak, getting a win with Joe Burrow, especially last year, where he didn't look like his career was happening, you know, with the injury and everything else. I think the spread was overdone, though. I think it's a 7-point spread. I thought it should be closer to 3. So, you know, had to be picked, I probably would take the Bengals +7. I think that's pretty good. At least some safety net, right?
Are you placing a bet?
I see KC will win, you know. No, I am not betting on anything. I'll throw that out there right now, right? I like to analyze the lines. I like to, you know, study how the line movements move, but I'm not make some money on the game. You know? That's a good way to lose it in some ways.
It's not losing if you always win.
Yeah,
always say it's not betting if you always win.
It's not betting. It's not gambling if you're winning, right?
Yeah. Look,
I have a problem telling you if you're winning.
I think this game is going to be a lot closer than what people anticipate it to be, especially early on. I think it's going to be a defensive struggle. And to be honest with you, I don't think teams and people in national media or local media are giving the Bengals their fair share as to how good they really are. Their fair handshake. Look, this team is really, really good. And that's without Larry Ogunjobi, who got sent to IR because he got an injured leg, I believe it was, or he got hurt, so he's out. But you still have other guys coming up, and people don't talk about so much on the defensive side of the football field what they're actually trying to establish during that offseason. Remember, they lost Carl Lawson. They brought in Trey Hendrickson, right? And that was a huge upgrade, in my opinion. And then they went out and got one of the best slot cornerbacks in the league, killing 2 birds with 1 stone and striking a deal for Mike Hilton, who was playing within the division in the AFC North with the Pittsburgh Steelers, who went from number 28 to now number 21. And then they got Chidobe Awuzie from the Dallas Cowboys. I'm saying this right now. If Chidobe Awuzie was on the Dallas Cowboys teaming up with Trayvon Diggs on the opposite side, I think that game may have been a different story. Chidobe Awuzie is a San Jose product, went to Oak Grove High School, went to Colorado University. He's a very good football player that they got in free agency. So that's 3 players right off the bat on the defense side of the ball that they and then Larry Ogunjobi, right, from the Cleveland Browns, another killing 2 birds with 1 stone kind of a mindset. So when you take that all into account and then you formulate how they're building their team from the inside out, not the outside in. And then you combine with a mix and match of what they already have and guys like Jesse Bates at third, who's a free agent at the end of the year. But then you have Von Bell there. You really have something to work with, right? And I think, again, when it comes down to it, is the Bengals are the one team in the AFC that really was coming and peaking at the right time. They beat the Kansas City Chiefs, right? If you guys remember, in the regular season game. So I wouldn't put it past them that they can't do it again. I think the Bengals are going to be actually ahead midway through the third quarter. And like you said, the X factor is Pat Mahomes. I think from the middle of the third to the end of regulation, they're going to score, I would say, anywhere upwards of maybe 14, 17 points and then break it off there with Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill and a few other players. But look, all four teams in this divisional round, conference championship games, they all deserve to be in there. There's not one team that you can look at and be like, man, they're definitely going to lose. Unless you're the LA Rams. You're definitely going to lose. I'm joking.
You know how happy your Niner fans must feel hearing that, especially you picked against the Niners. I was listening to your pre-show.
I did.
Roster.
I did.
Randy was the only one that picked the Niners on that show, right? I was listening to that.
Yeah.
The Voice
We're going to be on today.
It was the Voice one, right? I was listening to that. I was like, oh, he's just picked the Packers.
Yeah. Don't cross the beast on the Relevant app. We're going to be on tonight with Sean Salisbury, Glenn Parker, Randy Cross, of course, and Tom McManus, and then myself. So I'll be hosting that show on In the Huddle on the Relevant app. So
you did a really good job hosting, man. I was like, wow, he's done this before. Like, he's good.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, every Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific time or 8 p.m. Eastern time, whatever time zone you're in, we're going to be on. So we're going to obviously have to hop off right before 5 and I have to host the show. But yeah, download the Relevant app on your phone. Thank you, Jerry. You've been calling me out. I like it. I call myself out too. Look, I'm not afraid to say it. I picked the Packers to win. I did. I picked the Packers to win. And for anyone to say, well, oh, that was a bet. No, they didn't score one offensive touchdown. They got lucky. And sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. Let's be honest. If you ever played poker, you can have the losing hand and win on the river. That's better be lucky than good. I don't care.
I mean,
if I'm going all in.
Anyways, right? The playoffs, anything could happen.
Exactly. Anything happen. Yeah.
So any given Sunday, all that.
Right. Right. But no one expected a blocked field goal from Jimmy Ward right before halftime or a blocked punt by Jordan Willis of all people.
Who almost didn't play the game, right? I mean, he was questionable going into Sunday or Saturday, rather. So.
Right.
Going back to the Bengals, right? I think the thing that concerns me is their offensive line. I mean, being sacked 9 times and still winning the game is luck, like you said too, right? Luck played into that. And I think you talked about the Honey Badger earlier. Is he ready to go for this game? And I think that could be an X factor as well. You know? So I guess we'll see. But I would say the Bengals got upset. You know, I think a lot of people, like you said, are underrating them. It feels like last week, right, where everyone's underrating the Niners and not giving them respect by giving them 5 points, in terms of the spread. That's why I thought the 7-point spread was unfair. You know, I thought the Bengals should be around 3, 2.5, 3. But we'll see.
What about the
audio?
Okay, so
audio again, dude. Audio again, bro. There we go. You're good. I don't know.
Is it good now?
Yeah.
It's good.
So.
It's good now.
Okay.
Okay. So what's your take on the Bengal final score?
Dude, I never picked this final score, man. I'll pass on that one, because
no, take one. Take
I'll
a
tell you
stand.
this: the weather is gonna be a lot better than actually LA. Like KC's gonna be warmer. It's gonna be around 45, 50s. Versus in LA, it's actually going to be around 35, 40. So if that says anything, win factor is not there. So, I expect a high-scoring game, I think. Mainly because I think both guys can make it high-scoring. Both teams can be high-scoring.
I think it's going to be 30-23 Chiefs. And I think what's going to happen, like I said, I think midway through the third quarter, it's going to be 17-16. And I think what's going to happen is the Bengals are going to score one last touchdown, and then it'll be a tie ball game, and then Pat Mahomes on the final drive miraculously pulls one out of his behind, like he always does with the Mahomes magic. I mean, we're seeing greatness here, man. I mean, you want to talk about a guy who is going to his third straight Super Bowl potentially. We're talking about Tom Brady status, on the verge of being Tom Brady status. I mean, Tom Brady could be exiting, and here comes Pat Mahomes. So,
I mean, there's only a few guys that you think of that can do that, right? Like Pat Mahomes, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, last few seconds come back. Where you knew if they had the last possession, they're probably going to win the game, I think with guys like Jimmy G, for example, it's 50-50. Like you're not going to be like totally comfortable. And I think back in the old days when you saw like guys like Peyton Manning, you were kind of like, okay, all you need is that last possession, and he's going to win the game. So it's I think Pat Mahomes that guy, like you said. So I wonder if Joe Burrow is. Do you think he's that guy yet? I don't know.
I think Joe Burrow is going to be, I wouldn't put him top 5 yet, but he's definitely in top 5 conversation for next year. And the reason I say that is because if you look at the skill players around him and you look how the Bengals are building that team up, let's face it. And I said it in my pre-draft analysis, I thought they were going to go Jamar Chase over a guy like Penei Sewell. And people are like, no, why would they do that? They have Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins. I'll be like, because one, and I broke it down, and here Jamar Chase was drafted by the Bengals, and I say he's the best player on the board. They're not going to mess this up. And reuniting with this college quarterback is just, you can't replicate that. So you have to make that play. Jamar Chase to Joe Burrow, that could be the best 1-2 punch in the league in 2 years' time. I'm a firm believer in that, because let's face it, where the ball is going, and you can't stop it. Just like with Jimmy Garoppolo to George Kittle on a lesser level, obviously, but George Kittle is going to run a quick slant, and you can't stop it because George Kittle. I was going to say George Garoppolo. George Garoppolo. I'm going to call him George Garoppolo because that's all he does. He just throws it to Garoppolo all the time. So we're going to call it George Garoppolo.
T-shirts made, George Garoppolo shirts.
Double G. It's the double G game. That's it. That's it.
I agree with you. It's like kind of like Marvin Harrison and Peyton Manning. Right?
Peyton Manning.
Combo, with Reggie Wayne there and everything else.
Our guy, what's up, G? Who's a moderator here? He says, do you think the bye for the 1 seeds contributed to the losses? Titans had 9 sacks and lost. Green Bay scored 1 touchdown. I think that it all depends, and I talked to Randy about this on Relevant, and then also, throughout the shows and so forth, and through texting. And Randy was always the type of guy who says, I like that bye week because it gives us time to rest. The flip side of that is if you're a team like the San Francisco 49ers, you don't want to lose that forward momentum that you have, because anything that stops that forward momentum that you have, it's going to hurt you in the end. So to be honest with you, if they do reach the Super Bowl, I think that's going to do bad for them. Not saying they're not going to win the Super Bowl, but I'm saying it's going to take a hit for them because they have all this momentum built up over the last 11 games. And when you're getting into a rhythm, we always talk about a quarterback getting into a rhythm. Oh, now he's finding his rhythm. Now he's finding his groove. Oh, man, he's doing this. He's doing that. Same exact thing with the team. It's only more difficult because you're talking about a whole team with all 3 phases. But when everybody's clicking in all 3 cylinders and you know exactly where they're going to be before the ball arrives and how everyone is playing or not playing and how to kind of make up for that difference because you've been having that forward momentum, you're building team chemistry, and all of a sudden you hit that wall. Boom. Oh, man, it's Super Bowl week. We have an extra week to prepare. That sucks because now we have to face the Kansas City Chiefs, who, by the way, they don't need a bye. They don't need that forward momentum because they're just simply, on paper, a better football team. On paper.
And they're experienced too, right? They're an experienced playoff team. I think they've been there. They've done it. They've won. They've been there the last 2 years now. So it's...
right.
Yeah, I think in Green Bay, I think the bye week didn't really hurt them. I mean, you saw the first drive, right? They were like, running through the scripts. I thought it was. I thought it wasn't a factor. I think weather was a bigger factor that Packers gave them a bye. Titans maybe. I don't know.
Oh, we gotta respond. We gotta respond to Minnie. So Minnie says, "What is this BS?"
Oh boy.
I don't know. Minnie, why don't you hop on the show and we can talk about this BS? What part of it is BS? I would like to know, Minnie, instead of being a keyboard gangster.
I told you, Facebooks are full of.
But Minnie here, Minnie is being a meanie. Minnie. It says, "What's this BS?" How mean,
so better,
Minnie. Hey, you know what? If it's BS, you can swipe left. But the fact is that you're here, so I can't force you to watch me. I'm not telling you to. You can just click, like, go away. Like, it's cool. Like, I can't do the same for you, but you can. It's so weird how people.
You don't have to show the comment. See, Facebook and those trolls. There we go. John.
I know. I want. The funny thing is, it's like it's just I want to know, no, really, because she is a viewer, so she thinks it's BS. I want to know which part is BS, and if she says, well, all of it, well, what part of all of it is BS? You have to have some substance in saying something is BS before making that claim. Let's go ahead and move on. Yeah, Facebook equals trolls, for the most part, which is why we're here on YouTube.
I agree with John Zach.
They are.
It's dangerous.
They are.
At the Wild Wild West,
well, I mean, you have 230,000 people watching here because my Facebook page. But the comments that I get, I get comments every single day. I have to turn off those comments because it's just too much. Well, it's not. It's not for me. It's just like people within each other within the group are fighting, like bickering back and forth. They're fighting. They're having like internal wars, and like, man, like I really don't want notifications on why you think Joe Montana is less important than a guy like Tom Brady, and then taking it a step further. I mean, it's like everyone can have an opinion, but they take it to another level. Oh, what do you know? Like, how old are you? And it's like, I'm reading this. Well, they're not talking to me, but I'm reading the comments, and I'm getting notifications. I'm like, man, like, does it really, like, what does that have to do with anything? Oh, I'm true story. Michael Miller on a notification. Michael Miller says, I know more than you because I'm older than you. And then, no, he literally told, and then he was talking to me. And I look at that, I'm like, man, does that even deserve a response? Or should I just be like...
I told you not to respond to the haters, man. You're giving them too much attention.
But the fact is...
5 minutes of glory at that point.
Oh, I'll give them... Hey, I have no shame in calling them out. I mean, I'm the BEASTwriter. I don't care. It goes both ways. Whether players call me out and I call back the players. Unfiltered, bro. I'm not giving them a platform, but I will say this.
You're giving them a platform. That's what I'm telling you.
I will say to Michael Miller, who has a really big 49ers Facebook group, for him to say that just because you're older doesn't mean you're better. Just like if someone's younger doesn't mean I'm better, right? Some young kid who's 13 could be better than me. So I don't know. I never understood that. John Zek says Facebook and Twitter are trolls.
Everywhere.
And then we're getting the spam from people, so I gotta block these people. Did you see that?
No, I don't know. I'm not looking at the comments, so.
There's so much spam. I don't know what it is, but there's so much spam. At least it's not the... We got Clint Parsons in here. Amazing to see the 49ers still alive. What do you think about that?
I agree, man. I think at this point, we're playing with house money is the way I see it. You know how the 2010 Giants, where no one thought they were going to go anywhere, and they made the playoffs and then make the World Series? That was just all house money with icy on top that they won. You know? I feel the same way with the Niners. At this point, house money, man.
I think they're talking about 2010. I see the 49ers the same Aaron Rodgers was. Oh, man.
Man, that's... Alright, let's see
yeah, I know.
We have to buy BEASTwriter a new microphone.
Dude, I literally bought this freaking microphone, this stupid blue Yeti, and it's not working. It's driving me Yetiness. What was I gonna say?
Packers, yes.
They remind me of the 2010 Packers. If I was to put a stamp on the 2021 49ers, because they were getting hot at the right time, and it carried them into the wild card divisional game and NFC Championship game on the road. I believe they were also a number 6 seed. If I'm not mistaken, you can look it up and correct me if I'm wrong. Oh, BEASTwriter, you were wrong. They were not the number 6 seed. But I think they were. Double check on that and let me know, because someone's going to call me out if I'm wrong. Which is fine, because I want to be correct. All right, so... Myron Sanchez They are?
No,
Oh,
I'm
see?
gonna check this. Don't worry.
Oh.
Just move on. I'll let you know what happened.
Tobias England says D'Amico Ryans, is he the reason we are still in? I don't think he's the reason you're still in. I think the reason the Niners are still in is because this team has heart.
Yeah.
And Jerry, you can agree or to disagree or whatever the case may be.
Packers number 16, you're right. And I think that's why I kind of disagree with all the hate on Jimmy G. I don't know if you saw the Mina, her name, Mina something, where Jeff Garcia called her out, but she said that Jimmy G is like a guy that's working on a group project but still gets an A because he's not doing anything. I don't know if you saw that tweet, right? But Jeff Garcia actually responded to that. I mean, I agree with Jeff on that one. You know, I don't think it's true that he's just posted. I think the leadership and some of the intangibles of Jimmy G is what's keeping it too.
Here's my thing. I'm going to read you some of my tweets, and I did hear that. My man Steve Weiss, who obviously is part of the BWF here, one of my mentors, he actually stood up with Mina, and I agree with Steve. He said Mina, and it's on Twitter. He said Mina is damn good at what she does. There are Super Bowl winning coaches that never played, great assistants that never played, successful front office execs that never played. But more to the point, Mina is damn good at what she does. And I think that was very professional and spot on. And I agree with 100% with my man, Steve Weiss. And how can you argue with that? Look, you don't have to play the game to know the game. And again, look at Michael Jordan. He owns an NBA franchise, but the franchise hasn't won a ring yet? No. They drafted Kwame freaking, who was it? Kwame Thomas, right? Or who was it? The first number one pick overall. And look what happened to him, right? So, man, Kwame Brown or whoever it was. I forgot the guy's name. The high school basketball player drafted number 1 overall, the center. Kwame Brown. For the Wizards or whatever franchise it was. I forget. It was so long ago. But look, I mean,
you're right. It's Kwame Brown. He became a Warrior too.
There you go. So it's just almost like
I get what she said, and I respect whatever, but I just don't agree with it. Though, you know, I don't think Jimmy G's coasting. I don't think he's Trent Dilfer, right? And that's kind of what she's implying. That hey, you know, everyone's doing all the work, and Jimmy is there coasting, getting the win.
Here's the thing with Jimmy Garoppolo, and this is what people want to talk about. They want to talk about Jimmy Garoppolo. Look, I keep it 100. Right? And it's my opinion. You can agree to disagree, which is good. I think that we should have disagreements. I think that's healthy as long as everyone's respectful and you don't know what but anyways, whatever. We don't want to get into that. So here it is. All right. And the same people, and I put it out there right before the San Francisco 49ers beat the Green Bay Packers. I said the same people that are hyping up that the quarterback stat line of wins and losses does not matter when it comes to Jimmy Garoppolo because he's backed up by a running game and a strong defense. I put this on Twitter. Are the same people who are contradicting themselves when they say Aaron Rodgers is 0-4 against the 49ers in the freaking playoffs. That is a quarterback stat.
Right.
It goes both ways. You can't have your cake and eat it too. And if you try to, you're going to get burned. You can't do that.
Love it.
No. So don't teeter the fence. Don't be a triple F, a flip-flopper fake, and be like, whoa, Aaron Rodgers is 0-4 against the Niners in the playoffs. Oh, but then again, Jimmy Garoppolo's, wait, what? It's the same exact thing. Now, he's not on that level, but I'm saying when you compare quarterback wins, losses, it does hold substance. Now, when it comes to Mina, do I think that she was right in her analysis? I would say 50-50 on that. I would say to be honest with you, I would kind of lean more toward Mina's side. Because at the end of the day, look, they drafted Trey Lance for a reason because they're dissecting the playbook when it comes to Jimmy Garoppolo. Every team that goes in to face a Jimmy Garoppolo team, understands, hey, look, we're going to put 8 men in the box, and we're just going to make sure that Jimmy Garoppolo doesn't do anything out of that he normally wouldn't do, which is throw an interception because he normally does that. Stare down George Kittle, we know that. Freaking tweet it out before it happens. Everybody knows that. That's why he's called George Garoppolo on accident. I didn't mean to say that, by the way. George Garoppolo. Double G just came out. I like Jimmy Garoppolo. I do. I do like Jimmy Garoppolo. But to say that he is to go to argue saying that he's not the right quarterback for the team and Trey Lance is an answer, I think that's fool's gold as well. Mm-hmm. Because again, even though, and we talk about stats here and the quarterback stat line of wins and losses, even though he's a game manager, if he gets to the Super Bowl, he's already going to the NFC Championship game. That's him being the starting quarterback in 2 of the 3 years and reaching the freaking Super Bowl. I mean, how many quarterbacks can say they did that? Now, you can talk about the running game. You can talk about the lack of passing plays or whatever, backed up by a strong run defense and a good defense overall, top 10 defense. But at the end of the day, he does just enough to where the faithful are kind of teetering the fence now when it was just one more year that we talked about when it comes to Jimmy Garoppolo's game. And before, let's go back and check the receipts here on the BWF. We talked about this, Jerry, numerous occasions. The one more dance, last dance with Jimmy Garoppolo. And we had this discussion. If Jimmy Garoppolo goes to the Super Bowl, which was, let's be honest, at the time we were like, what are the odds? 100 to 1? What are the faithful going to be saying at that point in time if Trey Lance is not ready? I can guarantee you a lot of the people, because we were reading the comments, were saying Jimmy Garoppolo should be gone no matter what. Is that line of thinking still going to be the same if they win a Super Bowl? Because to me, if I'm John Lynch, you better make sure that Trey Lance is ready next year to at least make a playoffs, let alone a championship run, because you're dealing with a quarterback who is not accustomed to seeing NFL styles of defense, which we broke down in the BWF earlier on how you're comparing FBS to FCS talent and then defensive schemes and then the Power 5 and then the SEC and then the NFL. That's a lot of layers of the onion to get to the core when it comes to Trey Lance's game. We talked about this. For me, I think it's very difficult for you to...
I do.
Okay, better?
Yeah.
All right, I think it's very difficult for Jimmy Garoppolo or for John Lynch to wipe his hands clean at Jimmy Garoppolo and go all in on Trey Lance, which he already did, because of the fact, like, he didn't win you a Super Bowl, because let's be honest, he's a game manager, the ultimate game manager, but you win with him.
Yeah, I mean, they've been trying to replace him since he got here, right? It's like Kirk Cousins was the first choice, and also Tom Brady. Then it's trade of Aaron Rodgers was a rumor. There was it just seems like he was never really the guy here. It seemed maybe a conflict between Kyle and Lynch here. It seems like, but yeah, I agree with you. I think even if we win the Super Bowl, dude, we have to trade him. That salary cap's a beast. Yeah.
We have my man Daniel Jr. Middleton, who, by the way, he got some BWF t-shirt swag. I'm gonna get that out to you. I was supposed to get out to you last week. That is coming your way. He actually got 2 shirts. Thank you so much, Daniel, for the love and support here on the BWF. If you guys want to support, get the BWF t-shirts swag. Jerry, you have one.
I have one.
Do you like it?
Yeah, I still wear it.
Don't. You're like, yeah, man. Put me on the spot. No, the shirt sucks. No, I actually like it.
I actually like it. I kept the sleeves on,
Oh, I have so many shirts, and people think I wear the same thing all the time, like the same shirt. I'm like, nah, man. I just have like 5 different shirts of the same. Hey, it's product placement. Why would I not wear my own brand? Why would you not wear your own brand?
You get a hat or beanie, right? So for the podcast, you see a little bit better.
I do. But let's go ahead and stay on topic here. Talking about Jimmy Garoppolo versus Trey Lance. Look, I think Jimmy Garoppolo is a game manager, the ultimate one. I think by having Trey Lance, you open up the playbook so he is the sexier pick to go ahead and insert him at quarterback. I just don't think he's ready yet to be inserted into that role. And that's not to say that Trey Lance won't win you 3-4 rings. I'm not saying that, because he certainly has the potential to do that. But potential doesn't mean much. One more year. But here's the thing: is it going to be another year? Because let's face it, if this is the types of decisions that get you on the hot seat or even fired. If you don't and you fail and you gave up 3 first-round draft picks for a player that you thought was supposed to be the answer, and you're not even sniffing the playoffs over the next 3 years. And then you have all these players coming up for contract extensions and then go elsewhere, and then you have to replenish the draft, but you don't have first-round draft picks to maneuver and have draft flexibility, son. What's going to happen then?
Or is he Jordan Love? I think that's the question, you know?
Yeah.
But we'll see. You know, like, I guess let's move on to the game this weekend with the Rams and the Niners. Like, what's your analysis on that game? I don't know if you want to give away your analysis yet, but I want to get your thoughts overall. You see that 65% of the tickets are sold to Niner fans right now, so it's going to be maybe a home game away from home.
It is a home game, man. It's not even a question. It's so dumb. Dumb is a word that I like to use. It's so dumb how the Rams think that they're going to have home field. There's no way. The Rams left the moment they left St. Louis is the moment they lost that freaking fan base. Because let's face it, if the roles were reversed, and if you remember, Jerry, when we were growing up, the Niners were thinking about moving to LA. I can tell you straight up, I don't know if I'd be a Niner fan if they were in LA.
Oh yeah, I agree. That sucks.
So let's keep it 100. Right? So the inverse could be said.
OKC fans. Do you think they're still Sonic fans now in Seattle?
No.
Hell no, right?
No.
So, yeah.
Just like when the Cleveland Browns left the first time to Baltimore.
Yeah.
Or right? It's the same exact thing. It's almost like, why? You know, when Bill Belichick was there and so forth. But you know, getting back to it.
The St. Louis Rams, like, of all places, why they go there? You know, was it like a free contract with them?
Well, because it came down to money, right? It came down to a practice facility. I think they had a practice facility in place. I think the city was about to like build a stadium for them, so everything was in place and approved. And so I think that's why they made the switch to St. Louis. But
well,
look,
you know what though? The argument against that is look at the Raider fans. They're in Vegas. They're still fans. So.
Yeah. There's not much of an argument, though, Jerry, because if you look nationally and globally, the Raiders have always traveled well. They started in Oakland, moved to LA, so that was already established. So you knew at that point, once they made that switch, that the fan base was going to remain loyal after you saw that transition. Then you knew, and Al Davis knew, and Mark Davis knew, hey, look, if we were going to move to Las Vegas, we already, you know, if the best predictor of future behavior is past behavior, the Raider Nation has a strong, loyal fan base, just like the 49ers. They're going to travel regardless because of the fact, like, that's the dynasty that we established here and as one of the top franchises loyally around the league. And you take that into account, and I think
one of the X factors that is the logo, man. The logo and the colors from the Raiders is, you know, like appeals to a certain fan base versus St. Louis or the Rams, wherever. You know, I think people, like you said, got lost in that too. So.
Okay, so let's talk about the game. So you want to know my thoughts about the game? I'm going to give it to you. Here's my thoughts. All right. They're the hottest team in the NFL right now. They've been in control of their freaking destiny since week 18, and they just keep winning. Winning, they're in. They got in. Rams, sorry but not sorry, bro. You freaked up, man. And Road Warriors winning 6 of the last 8 road games came on the road. This is what I see the game being won down in the trenches, obviously, with that run game, opening up the play action pass and so forth. I think it's going to be a defensive struggle. I think that it's going to come to a last-second field goal, and I think the 49ers are going to win 23-20. At the end of the day, what it comes down to is, again, when you have two teams that really know each other, especially when they play 3 times in the same season with the same personnel now, you guys got to remember this. You have to use something outside the box, right? And I think what you're going to see with Kyle Shanahan is you're going to see even in sprinkling a little bit of Trey Lance in there. Don't be surprised if he's used in goal line or situational football. If not Trey Lance, I can see a trick play of a flea flicker with Kyle Juszczyk or maybe a halfback toss end around to a guy like Brandon Ayuk. If you guys remember, they did it last year or a couple years ago in Arizona. And that was a trick play that I kept in my notes. And I was like, you know what? I can see Kyle Shanahan using this again in the divisional game, right, against the Los Angeles Rams. And then if you're going to play devil's advocate here and they try to counter that, because we all know that Kyle Shanahan knows this, now that I put this out there, he's probably like, oh man, hopefully the Rams aren't watching. I'm just joking, but what if he is? Then what you can do with Brandon Ayuk or even Jawan Jennings or whoever it is catching the end around, he can probably throw out to a leak out with George Kittle, who, by the way, likes to do a little trick plays of his own when he fakes, dives at people's feet pretending he's tripping and then gets back up and then he runs open because the underneath defender thinks he just fell on his own. These are things that you have to look for when I watch coaches film, and I just see that coming into play, and you're going to see a trick play or two by the San Francisco 49ers to kind of keep the Rams defensive front seven honest.
Do you think OBJ and Cam Akers are a big factor, though? They weren't,
oh, yeah.
They weren't looking like the way they were when we first played them, right? Like, Akers was even there. OBJ was still kind of up to speed in the first game. He looked, non-factor in Week 18, but he looked pretty good in the playoffs the last two games. Yeah. I mean, he's part of the reasons why, they beat Tampa. And you still have to count for Cooper Kupp, and they're using Van Jefferson kind of like how they were using Robert Woods now, right? So it's a different team, too, on offense, I think. What do you think about that? And it's an X factor for us. We didn't have K'Wan Williams in Week 18, right? So,
dude, K'Wan Williams been getting beat, bro. I hate to say it, man. He's been getting beat by touchdowns.
Your boy. That's your boy, man.
I like K'Wan. But look.
Playing for KY. Or KW, sorry.
Yeah. If you look at the officiating crew for the NFC Championship game, I run grades on not only the players, I run grades on the refs. I do it all, bro. The officiating crew is led by referee Carl Cheffers. All right. He is LA based, obviously. But when I was watching how he grades the Niners versus the Rams, I would say he's pretty neutral. All right. Then you look at the umpire, right? So the umpire is right next to the referee behind the quarterback and basically is in charge of, holding calls, roughing the passer penalties, stuff like that. So Paul King, who was on Land Clark's crew, called Silverback Trent Williams for a holding penalty. He flagged Arden Key for illegal hands to the face, which is a good call. Got Armstead for neutral zone infraction at Chicago. All these penalties were at Chicago. I think they're not the Niners. I don't think they're going to get away with a lot because, again, if you know the Niners front four, they're very physical and they win their battles down in the trenches. So I think this might be a close, stick into the rules because I'm not saying that the Niners.
You think officiating is a big factor here then? Wow.
Oh, for sure. But then you look on the back end. Right? You have the field judge Tom Hill, right, who was on Sean Hockley's crew, and he, if you want to talk about Van Jefferson here, all right, and Jalen Ramsey, right, on the flip side of that, when you're the field judge and you're looking for passing interference and defensive holding penalties, if you remember watching the game, I think it was against the Cardinals or the Seahawks, one of those games, those divisional game, Ramsey was flagged for not only a PI as I run grading systems on him on every single snap played, but he also got a defensive holding penalty. I believe it was on I want to say it was on DK Metcalf.
Audio again. Can't hear you yet. But...
now?
Yeah, there you go.
Can you hear me now?
You're good.
All right, so I think you have to take officiating into perspective, not in terms of whether or not they're fair or unfair, but how they're going to call these games, right? And again,
right now. Mm-hmm.
What's that?
How tight the rules are, right? Because I think officiating is kind of mixed in some ways, Like,
and I think
more with some officials than others.
Yeah. And I think what's going to happen on the back end here, and I think they're going to let him play a little bit. You have Eugene Hall there, who was on Sheffer's crew. Again, this officiating crew when it comes to Carl Sheffers now, but it's an all-star cast, so you have mix and match here. They threw the most penalties of any NFL officiating crew this year, led by him.
So well for the Niners, though, right? Because the physicality, the Niners.
Well, they get it. Niners get away with a lot of holding penalties, man. And I know holding happens all the time on any given play. It's just the amount of the hold. And people can talk about Nick Bosa, but then I can double down on that and talk about Cam Jordan and Danielle Hunter and all these other top edge rushers that get held on the daily. Aaron Donald. So I think you're not going to see these outside zone runs. Some of these big plays are probably going to be called back because, let's face it, Tom Compton going up against a guy like Ashawn Robinson and setting the edge, especially if you're using a bare front with going to scrape down the line of scrimmage, and then you also have that C-gap bubble open. But then again, if you have an outside linebacker with speed like a Von Miller or Leonard Floyd, and you box or spill depending on how you see the pre-snap key, and then they try to hit on the other bubble of that,
yeah,
it's going to be hard.
Kittle there, right, to kind of help Compton. Hopkins getting
We'll see.
beat, man.
We'll see. If you have George Kittle in the run game on an outside zone runs, now you're taking Kittle out of his element, because at some point you're gonna now you're making now you're dictating what the Niners can and cannot do on the line of scrimmage and resetting that line of scrimmage. So that's why you have to be careful. And again, you have to look at officiating crews, and Vegas does this. They look at who's calling the game and be like, okay, well let's pull up the numbers, let's pull up the analytics on how many holding penalties, how many of these were questionable, how many, what was it really a call? That's why Jerome Boger, who I called out since 2012. That's why he's not calling a freaking playoff game anymore, because people like me point out, like, dude, this guy's bad, and he's not in the playoffs. So
it's good. We shouldn't have bad officials, So, all right, Beast, I have to run now, but I'll keep listening to the show. But thanks for having me on.
All right, thank you so much. Mind of Jerry in the house. All right, so please tell me if my audio craps out, because I don't know if it's going to crap out or not. But what I do know is, please give it a thumbs up if you guys like what I have to say. Okay, so with that being said, I'm going to hop on the Relevant app and talk about the matchups more. If you guys have yet to do so, please go ahead and download the Relevant app. Me and my man Randy Cross have a pregame show called Don't Cross the Beast Empire. We also have a show called In the Huddle with Sean Salisbury, Tom McManus, Glenn Parker, and of course Randy Cross and myself. So that's the big five, I guess you would say. And download the Relevant app on your phone. Everybody has a phone or an iPhone or a tablet, Droid, whatever. And go ahead and download the Relevant app. Now, be sure I spelled it correctly. If you notice, there's no extra E in there. We took out the E on the last part of Relevant. So it's RELEVNT. Because people were asking me, hey, I downloaded the Relevant app, but like it had some church stuff on it, because there's a Relevant app for church, obviously. And so I was like, oh no, it's not the right one. And then another person texted me and said, oh wait, I downloaded something for something else. I was like, no, that's not that one. Take out the extra E in Relevant. It's RELEVNT. So this is the correct spelling here that you see on the bottom of the screen. Just go ahead and download the Relevant app. And me and Randy will be on in the next hour or so. Actually, it's the next hour. 58 minutes to be exact. But yeah, a lot of stuff to talk about, guys. I just think this is going to be a good matchup. Hey, the Rams are going to freaking lose, dude. I don't know. I don't tell you, man. And that's a homer take, whatever. The Rams are going to lose. Do I think Jimmy Garoppolo is a game manager? Absolutely. Do I think you can win with Jimmy Garoppolo? Absolutely. Do I think he gives them the best chance to win? Well, hard to argue, right? It's hard to argue. That's for debate, because again, he does shrink up the playbook a lot of times. He does. Like, it's backed up by a strong running game and that defense. But again, if you plug Trey Lance in there, you can't say that he wouldn't make even more mistakes coming in as a rookie. But time will tell. Time will tell how this all plays out. The grass isn't always greener on the other side. But then again, you look at that and we all know what Jimmy Garoppolo can't do. And we all know what he can do. So it's kind of one of those things. And at the end of the day, I don't care who's behind quarterback. It could be freaking, I don't know, pick a quarterback. It could be Jordan Love. Could be, if you win, you win. If you're winning with him, I should say. I don't care. I don't care. He's the good luck charm. Got to have a good luck charm. All right. So I think that's going to wrap it up, guys. I got to get ready for my pregame show. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to shoot them my way. Otherwise, I'm going to be hopping off this live stream because I have to get ready for another podcast that I'm hosting on In the Huddle. Follow me on the Relevant app with my man, Randy Cross. You guys know who Randy Cross is. And we will be doing pregame shows and talking about the 49ers on our pregame show called Don't Cross the Beast Empire. And again, we do a pregame show, a midweek show, and then everything in between. If you guys have questions for us, we can always answer them inside the app or here on social media, whichever you prefer. But definitely download the Relevant app and join us because, again, it's not just me and Randy on tonight's show on In the Huddle. It's Sean Salisbury. You guys know who Sean Salisbury. You guys all know who Glenn Parker is and Tom McManus is. All right? So go ahead and check it out because if you're not, you're doing yourself a disservice. I'm joking. Shameless plug, but no, check it out. If you like it, hey, download the app. If you don't like it, don't download the app. Kim Ferrison said, let's go Beast. What's going on, man? How you doing? My Hofstra product. John Zach says Niners 24-20. I think it's going to be 23-20. Now watch me be wrong. Everyone's picking the Niners to win. I don't care what anyone says. Everyone's picking the Niners to win. Because at the end of the day, 3.5-point favorites, we all know if you're a betting man, you know Vegas gives you 3 points for being the home team anyway, so it's only a half a point. Take the money line. Go all in. Push the chips in the table. I'm joking. Don't do that. But I just think the Niners are going to win. I just think the Niners are going to win. Now watch me be wrong. I don't know, man. It's gonna be a game where, like, I think, how's Raheem Morris gonna counter the inside outside zone runs? I mean, yeah, use a bear front, take away the inside outside zone runs that you see with the Tennessee Titans. The Cincinnati Bengals did it. Of course, you saw the Green Bay Packers do it. So you see the formula for success against the outside inside zone runs, but is it going to be enough? It comes down to those outside linebackers. It really comes back to Von Miller and Leonard Floyd. Can they set the edge in boxing or spilling, depending on how they are reading their keys? It all depends on the defensive line up front of Ashawn Robinson and Gaines resetting that line of scrimmage and really pushing the interior as a two-gap space eater. Good looking honky says, Beast, hi Peter Northrup. Okay, that is not what we want. Let's block him. Anyways, we have a lot of stuff going on here. Check it out. We have John Zach says teams play 3 times in a season have a 65 chance of winning. Interesting. We have, he says 1 up 2-0. Interesting. That's some interesting stuff. All right, that'll be it for today. I hope you liked the show. I'm going to be hopping off and hopping on YouTube. Probably, I don't know, maybe tomorrow. Yeah, definitely tomorrow. And then hopping on a live stream with my man, Randy Cross, Tom McManus, Glenn Parker, and Sean Salisbury at 5. Thank you so much for everyone for tuning in. I hope you had a lot of fun. Jerry, thank you so much. I appreciate the love. Mahalo for the love and support. Do yourself a favor, or do me a favor. Do yourself a favor. Do me a favor by liking the video if you like it. If you don't like it, you can thumbs it down and put dislike. I don't care. Either way, it really helps my algorithm because it means that engagement is here. So thumbs up, thumbs down, I don't care. I'm joking. I prefer a thumbs up, but if you thumbs it down, whatever. All right. That's it for today. And I'll be back tomorrow. So take care. Have a good night. BEASTwriter out.